There we go. Brooks Young is here. Hello, Brooks.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Welcome. And we're excited to have you because obviously we're fans of yours and we enjoy having you here. But also, you brought your guitar. Oh, that's a beautiful. Now I'm bummed our video's not working because that's a beautiful guitar. But
Thank you.
we will take pictures while you're playing. That's wow.
Yeah, thank you.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's my love of guitars has grown over the years. And, so this is a Gibson J200.
Yeah.
And I used this guitar on the George Thorogood tour.
Yeah.
As well as my electric when I sat in and played with George. And, got this right before I left on tour, and this guitar is beautiful. Goes with me everywhere. So
it's gorgeous. It really is.
Yeah, it's fairly new to me. I just picked it up right before I left on tour, and so I've only had it for a few months. And
oh, really? Yeah.
I haven't even recorded or done anything like that with it yet. So this is its first not on stage performance.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. Very cool. Very cool. Brooks, I'm dying to hear you play.
Sure.
And let me get that other mic up.
So
there we are.
While you're doing that, I'll tell a little story about this song real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
So funny thing is this song is called I Believe, and me and the guys in the band, we wrote this song 14 years ago, and just recently I was at home. I had a day off, and if anyone's followed the band over the years, I'm a big NASCAR fan, and we've performed for NASCAR at the track many times, the band. So on Netflix, there's a new NASCAR documentary, and I'm a huge fan of Hendrick Motorsports NASCAR. I'm on Netflix. I'm sitting on the couch eating some lunch, and I'm watching this big moment where Hendrick Motorsports gets their 300th win.
Oh, really?
Big moment in the episode. And Jeff Gordon's up there, and all of a sudden, I'm hearing a song that I'm like, geez, I must have left the speaker on or my phone's on playing one of my songs. And no, it wasn't. It was in the Netflix documentary for NASCAR.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
That's
this
awesome.
big moment, and Jeff Gordon's on the screen, and this was just recently. And I was like, wow, this is, so I'm on the phone, I'm like calling everybody, I'm like, hey, and it was just a really cool moment because I grew up as a NASCAR fan, and Jeff Gordon was my favorite driver, and to have one of our songs in this big moment on this NASCAR documentary on Netflix, and it just came out. It's a very hot show. Everyone was watching it. And it's just, I had to sit back for a moment. I was like, wow, this is great.
That's awesome.
So I'll play it for you. It's a song called I Believe. Seeing that we just played Restless, something new, I'll play you something a little...
Yeah. I've got that other mic up, so... Brooks Young is with us live in studio.
Called, I Believe.
All right.
I believe that some things are true. It's just me that you're trying to talk to. The closer you get, the harder I fall. I would do anything at all. I would swim across the ocean, fly to the moon. I would walk 1,000 miles just to get to you. I would walk 1,000 miles just to get to you. Yeah. I'm relieved to hear your name. The same old stories, nothing else has changed. Picking up where we left off. Seems like forever since we've been apart. I would swim across the ocean, fly to the moon. I would walk 1,000 miles just to get to you. I would walk 1,000 miles just to I would walk 1,000 miles just to be with you, yeah. And I would walk 1,000 miles just to be with you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Brooks Young is here with us live in studio. And by the way, to go back to that, what you were talking about, the song being in that documentary. So I'm fascinated by this. So you had no idea? That was a total surprise?
I had no clue. I probably would have never have known if
Wow.
I didn't follow NASCAR.
Yeah.
Like, I would know, like, once I get, like, a, you know, say, like, a royalty statement or something like that would,
Right.
you know, alert me. But supposedly this is going to be a good one, though. So I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually I get paid on things like that, like 6 months to a year, because it's a big thing. It's not like just streams or something like that. So
Right.
It's a little bit different, that end of the business.
Yeah, no doubt. So tell us again about, so you were, how many dates did you do with George Thorogood? Because that's what you were about to do.
Yeah.
The last time that you were on the
I
show.
think it was like 13 or 14 dates. And it was a blast. We went to Pennsylvania, which was great. And I really loved that. It was the Palace Theater in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And really cool things. It was interesting for me to be out of my home area.
Yeah.
And a funny story is I felt more support and more welcomed in states and venues that I have never been in my whole life compared to I do at home.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Like, so I arrive at Pennsylvania at the theater, and there's these two guys outside, like, the backstage door. And, like, they knew who I was. They, like, want to take pictures and sign stuff. Like, I've never been there my whole life.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that was, like, at every venue. And then we went down to, we were in North Carolina, I think by the NASCAR Hall of Fame. We played a gorgeous venue there. And after the show, I go out the back door, and there's, I don't know, 10, 12 people out there with signs and wanting to meet me and sign stuff and take pictures. And
Wow.
I have a fun picture
That's
of
so
them.
cool.
Yeah, and it was really nice, and it really reassured me that, okay, you know, this is great.
Mhm.
And then we were in Lexington, Kentucky at the Lexington Opera House. And the same thing there. After the show, I walked out, and there were all kinds of people like that came up like out of nowhere, and just they were like, "Hey, you know, can we take a picture, say hello?"
Yeah.
And so it was really nice, and everyone was very welcoming. And so I would go up on stage and I would play a whole set, acoustic solo, open up for George, and then the last song of the night, I would go up on stage with my electric guitar with George Thorogood and the Destroyers.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. And I remember it was the first night when we were in Pennsylvania, and George was like, "Hey, I'd like for you to come up and play with us." And,
Yeah.
And then I hear it over the radio, because we all have radio. It's big production. You know,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, tractor trailer truck, tour buses, and everything. And get Brooks's guitar ready to play with George. And we had a great guitar tech and called Rev. And he was a great guy and took good care of me and my guitars. And it was a blast. And I remember that first night in Pennsylvania being on stage with George Thorogood and the guys. And
Was it kind of surreal? Like, wow, I can't believe this.
Yeah, it really was. And because, George was at Hampton Beach Casino not too long before I went on tour. I wasn't part of that part of the tour, but he invited me, and I went there, and it was very interesting, because I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to be on this tour. I'm about to go do this, and that was a different angle for me.
Yeah.
And but he was great, and the whole crew, they were just so welcoming and took great care of me. And let me tell you, I still have nightmares of pushing a hotel cart down hallways. And,
Oh no!
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. You're more not on stage than on stage.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
I saw so many hotels. I could tell you which hotels to go to, which ones not to go to. Yeah, it was just really interesting. And it was the first time I've ever done laundry at a hotel.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, one of the shows. Yeah, I don't remember where it was, but I had no clue. I was just I was by myself, in this hotel. I'm like, well, it's very lonely. Like a lot of it gets very lonely.
Yeah, that's what people say. Yeah.
Like I was in Florida for days because there was the tour kicked off and we did like 2, maybe 3 shows, and then there was like a week off.
Oh wow!
And I went to my friend Charlie's house in Ocala, Florida, and stayed with him and his wife for a few days.
Yeah,
and that's where I got to hang out and meet Patrick Swayze's wife, Lisa Swayze.
Oh yeah.
And that was great. Got to see a lot of horses and go around for a few days, but it was nice to see him because he lives up here, so it kind of was a little bit of home while I was down there.
Yeah.
And I would FaceTime with my girlfriend here and there, and and do that. And it was nice. She came out to Kentucky for a couple of the shows down there, and we got to go around and see stuff. So, yeah.
Well, how many was it? 13 total? 13?
Yeah,
14?
something like that.
Yeah.
And I think all the dates and stuff, if you go to my website, you can see all the venues.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just a blast. And I got to kind of get to know George a bit more, every night and hang out in the dressing room and just talk music, guitars, life. And
had you toured with him before?
I didn't tour with him, but I did open for him a few times on separate occasions.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. So I was familiar with George, but I didn't get to spend much time with him on that years ago. But, on this tour, we were hanging out all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And George was the only other person who's played this guitar.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I told him the story and I took it out, and I got a great picture of George playing it. And yeah, he loved it. He's a Gibson guy. So Gibson. And so, yeah, I had a blast. And, just to go out there and have the crew and everybody just really take care of you.
Yeah.
And you walk out on the stage, and just the cheering. And there's actually a live album on my Spotify. It's Brooks Young Live, and it's the whole acoustic set.
Oh, wow.
From the shows I did with George.
Oh, okay.
And they're different songs from different venues that were taken, and they were all recorded professionally right from the board at the show. And you can hear the audience in them.
Yeah.
And, I did Miss You by the Rolling Stones.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And I got the whole crowd to sing, the woo.
Oh, very cool.
And, to hear,
that's awesome.
4,000 to 6,000 people do that, and
we might have to play that at the end of the segment.
it's great. Yeah. And
It's on Spotify?
yeah, it's
Okay.
on Spotify.
I'll find it and we'll play it. Yeah. Because I'm really curious now. That's very cool.
Yeah. So, now I'm back home in New Hampshire, and I'm kind of itching to get back into the recording studio, maybe do something.
Yeah.
I've been doing a few solo things where I go out and play at a few places, which is really different. When I first came back from on tour and I was doing that, it was a really weird feeling for me.
Really? Why?
I guess, I don't know, this might sound weird, but I had to set my own shit up.
Oh,
Sorry.
Sorry. That's all right. We're on a delay. I caught it.
Oh, good. I had to, set all my own stuff up.
Yeah.
And so I just got used to,
Yeah.
And then the audience, people, when you're on stage at a show like that and the people are there listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Compared to, say, you go play whatever restaurant or whatever, you're more like wallpaper kind of music.
Right. Yeah.
And when I first got back, it was a really strange feeling about that.
Yeah.
Usually you kind of finish the song, people are like,
Yeah.
And there's no, plates and silverware,
Right.
when you're on stage clicking in your ear. You
right.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but, so it took me a little while to okay, we're back home now. Here we go.
Yeah.
And, but next week we're about to, announce a big show, for people who are listening. I really can't say too much about it yet, but there's a theater in New Hampshire. It will be a New Hampshire show, and myself and the guys in the band will be headlining this beautiful venue.
Cool.
So if you, stay posted. I think it's next Wednesday it gets announced, and next Friday tickets go on sale. And so we'll be doing that. My longtime, my best buddy, Jeff Leroy, who plays keys, in the band in Hammond, Oregon. He's probably listening right now.
Cool.
And so we're really excited. He just went out and he purchased an old Hammond organ and had it all refurbished, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we played a couple shows with it, and it's just so cool to have.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
And so we're going to bring it to this show. And
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to it. And a fun thing, too, about the show coming up. So I started a band playing music when I was much younger. You know, I was 16 or so. But like in middle school, high school, my buddy Jonathan and Josh, I got a guitar once for Christmas. And I was like, hey, guys, get some instruments. We'll start a band. And we drove Jonathan's mother crazy. We had a little tiny room upstairs in the house and the drum set. Imagine like a room like a quarter the size of this, and you had three of us drum set. I had like a Martin electric guitar, a little like Yamaha, I don't know, maybe a 10-watt amp or whatever. It didn't even cut through the drums. I was just up there strumming. But we started a band, and the bass player was a great friend of mine, lived down the street, Josh, and he's actually moved back here.
Oh.
And so he's going to be coming back into the fold of playing some shows.
Nice.
Stuff. And he'll be doing that with us. And so I'm really excited about that.
Oh, very cool.
So, yeah, it's a weird moment. Like, everything comes full circle. Like, I haven't seen him since we were kids.
Yeah.
You know? So, to, like, see him as a grown adult.
That'll be surreal.
I know. I was thinking that the other day. And, so it's it's been a lot of fun. The tour was a lot of fun. Back home now. Thinking about doing some playing, doing some recording. I'd like to record up at Mojo Studio up in the White Mountains.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And did a lot of work with them. I did my last blues album with them. And
that track, Restless that we heard, was that recorded there?
No, that was not recorded there. So I've really been taking a lot of time learning the other end of the music industry, the whole streaming and how things are released now.
Yeah.
So those were tracks that we actually recorded a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And released as an EP before everyone was releasing singles. And, you know, kind of lost in the shuffle. Imagine how many albums are out there now that people just didn't hear or weren't, you know.
Right.
Because it wasn't marketed, how things are marketed now. There's a whole Spotify algorithm and releasing things as singles.
Well, yeah, things have kind of inverted too. Yeah. Because, you know, growing up, it was, you know, bands would release, or solo artists or whomever would release an album. And you know, the single would usually come out. The first single would come out before the album. It would go to radio before the album. Then the album comes out. Then you get the follow-up singles. Whereas now, it's so many of the guests that we have on the show, they talk about their strategy is to just release singles, and then eventually those singles become either an EP or an album. So it's just kind of flipped on its head.
Yeah. So I've been listening to like a lot of audiobooks about it, reading a lot of things, and like for instance, Restless just came out. I don't know, a few weeks ago. I think it has almost 12,000 streams on it. It had like 10,000 or so, like the first couple of days it was released. And usually when you release like an album, you're lucky if you get that on something.
Right.
So it just brought more attention to those songs.
Yeah.
And, you know, the more I think about it, I'm like, geez, I have a bunch of albums, you know, that
could
just kind of, you know, toss something in here and there, you know, that really did well when we released it, but just didn't have that spotlight on it because it was released within an album.
Right.
So Jeff and I, the keyboard player, we've been talking about that. So we're itching to record a little bit, and we might go up to Mojo Studio. We were thinking about, there's another new location down in Derry. There's a recording studio down there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what we do. I got to work on it. I've been writing a lot, doing that, and just kind of living life a little bit.
Yeah. You want to play another? Live one?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right. Let me get that other mic up. And Brooks Young is here with us. If you're just joining us, he's live in studio with us. He's going to play another live song, and while you do that, I'm going to find "Miss You."
Yeah,
I want to play that later. Yeah.
Here we go. This song here is called "We Were Young."
All right.
We were young, wild and free. Remember when we I know is all I see. You can't let go to something that used to be, yeah. Falling down can be so hard. Would you catch me if I fall? All I know is all I see. Take me back to something that used to be, yeah. Falling down can be so hard. Would you catch me if I fall? Falling down can be so hard. Would you catch me if I fall? Yeah.
Beautiful. Brooks Young is here with us live in studio. So in the short term, so you're thinking about recording some more.
Yeah.
You talked about that. And then do you have long-term plans for another tour? Like, do you have anybody obviously you can't, if you've got something in the pipeline, I'm sure you can't reveal it, but I'm just curious if you do have anything in terms of,
Oh, there'll definitely be some more stuff with George coming up. So.
Good.
Yeah. So, and then a few other things in the works. I really just been focusing on doing some writing and just kind of being home and playing some stuff around here at the moment. And I got really sick when I was on tour.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. And then the whole crew and everyone did too, like the last two shows. And I just recently like got better.
Oh no,
I
kidding.
was sick for months.
Oh my God,
it was really bad.
What was it?
Some type of, I don't know if it was a flu type thing or some long COVID thing or whatever, but I was talking to a doctor every week almost. I would, do the web whatever on the phone. And I was taking all the things they gave me and nothing didn't help.
Oh my God.
I just now can sing. Like I just recently, like a couple days ago, like I did a few shows because I had to. Like when I first came home, I had something lined up. I forget what. Yeah. And I was like, oh geez, I just barely could get through some of the things that I did.
Wow.
But I finally have like the energy back. Like I felt like just drained.
Yeah.
And being on the road like that, it takes a lot out of you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it sure does. And I got really sick, and luckily I was home for a while. And
were those last couple of shows hard to get through?
Yeah, the last two were. And, I was drinking throat coat tea, a lot of it before I'd go on. And I had to be careful because once you're up there, there's no, excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom.
Right, yeah.
You're up there and you either hold it and, you got 4,000 people or more staring at you.
Yeah.
And, so I had to be really cautious with that. And I was taking some other medicine and stuff. And, towards the end, you could hear it in my voice.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And then during the day, when I was, off on the shows, I'd drink a lot of, tea as well, throat coat tea. And all that. And, it was great. But when I came home, it got worse. Like the sickness.
It actually got worse. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep.
No idea what it was?
Not a clue. I did like the COVID test or whatever. It was negative.
Yeah.
And it was like a nasally, like I had a really bad sinus infection.
Oh,
Like bad. And
those can last a long time.
oh, let me tell you, a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, I mean, it was months.
Yeah.
And I was on all of the stuff the doctor gave me, take this and that. And finally, like, all right, it's better. Like, I'm feeling good. And then, like, 2 or 3 days would go by and it'd be back.
Really?
And I couldn't sing. I didn't have the energy. I was just worn out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just the other night at home in the kitchen, I surprised myself and I took my guitar out
Yeah.
and started playing and singing. And I haven't done that for a while.
Oh, wow.
Because I just didn't have it in me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and, usually when I'm at home, like I like to pick up and strum here and there or maybe work on something. And I just didn't have the energy.
Yep.
Wasn't that I didn't want to.
Yeah.
It's just I didn't have the energy to. And I just got a great guitar. I just got an endorsement deal with PRS Guitars.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So my friend Tomo Fujita in Boston, he taught John Mayer how to play.
Okay.
And so him and John Mayer are like very close friends. And Tomo saw one of the videos of me playing with George and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always liked PRS guitars. John Mayer has a model out now called the Silver Sky.
Yeah.
Gorgeous guitar. And they just came out with a new one. Vienna Blue. It's an old 1980s Porsche paint color.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so they said they looked at my stuff, and Tomo sent it to him, and the artist relations guy got back to me and said, "Yeah, we'd love to have you part of PRS." And,
Very cool.
And yeah, he's like, "What color would you want?"
Yeah.
And my girlfriend and I, we just got a Sphinx cat, a hairless cat.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And her name is Rose.
Yeah.
Well, they had a PRS in a rose like color. It was like a wineish rose. It was called Midnight Rose.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that would be cool." And she's like, "Yeah, you should get that one."
Oh, wow.
And they had one at the factory, and they found like it had like a slight defect, and like, "We don't want you to have this. We're going to give you this new one that's just barely out, that Porsche one." And
Wow.
so yeah, like a few days later, a week later, it showed up on the doorstep, and yeah, so I can't wait to go on stage and play it.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So the guitar matches the cat?
No.
Oh.
So our cat Rose, she's deaf. She's a Sphinx, and she's she's 6 months old.
Yeah.
And but she loves when I play guitar.
Really?
Like, yeah. So when I took the guitar out the other day, I was just telling you, she comes up and she sits on my lap and she like paw and play at this.
Oh, no
and
kidding.
pull the strings. I have great video of it.
That's so cute.
And
Oh, wow.
We're cat people.
Yeah. Yeah. We have 2 cats. We love them.
Yeah. So it's very interesting because she's deaf, but sometimes I think maybe she's not deaf. So
She probably feels the vibrations.
yeah, the vibrations, and she loves it. So it's really hard for me sometimes to practice.
Yeah.
Because if I'm there sitting, she wants to be part of it. She's like, "Hey."
Interesting.
I'm playing too.
It's like, yeah, exactly. So
Oh, that's
Get her a little mini guitar.
I know, right? Yeah, probably.
Play her own guitar while you're playing yours.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, she loves this guitar, and so yeah. So I got sick. I finally got over it, and I got my voice back a bit, and which is great. So I'm just really looking forward to getting together with my bandmates and doing some shows. We got a couple things lined up with the full group, and it's just great to play with my friends. And
yeah.
it comes a point where you're playing with the people that you've known for years,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like just friends getting together. And,
Yeah.
so I really love that, and Jeff Leroy, who I keep bringing up, the keys player, him and I have been together playing for I think about 18 years now.
Wow.
And we were much better looking back then. And he would come over to the house, I remember, and we would just play music together and write stuff. And then we're like, "Hey, we got the band going." And then boom, we got a phone call. "Hey, BB King would like you to open up for him."
Yeah.
And we weren't really ready for anything like that,
Yeah, I remember you told that story last time you were here, and that's wild.
Yeah. And that right there, doing that, like, opened the doors for so much.
Yeah.
And so you never know.
Yeah, that's true.
You really don't. You never know.
That's true. Well, so much of it is being ready for those opportunities when they arise, because yeah, you might not think you're ready for something.
Yeah.
And you might really not be ready for something, but when opportunity knocks, you got to open the door whether you're ready or not
Yeah.
and seize that opportunity. So
I always have gone by this quote I heard from, is it Richard Branson, who owned Virgin Mobile and the airline?
Yep.
He always said to apply for a job, or if someone asks you for a job that's way above your head that you can't do, never say no.
Right.
Always say yes, then figure it out.
Right. Yeah.
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 And so I've always kind of went by that. You know?
Yeah.
And because we were in no shape or form to, go play. We didn't even, I don't even think we played a bar at that point in our career or whatever.
Yeah.
But, and then we started doing more things with him. And then, and you never know. So
Right.
just say yes and do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I had a similar, the first band I'd been in bands in high school and stuff, but the first band I ever played in that actually went out and played shows was a band called The Jinxed. And Jenny's heard me play like that song Insomnia that I've played on the show.
I like that song.
That's The Jinxed,
That's my favorite.
And when that band was starting up, the two guys who were kind of the nucleus of the band, they'd already recorded a bunch of stuff, but had never played out with it. And they knew that I played bass, and they were offered a show at UNH, at a dorm party at UNH, and wanted me to play bass for it. And I remember Troy, the guitar player, leaving me a voicemail and telling me that it was going to be in like 2 weeks. And he's like, I know you're very busy, and we're very busy, and everyone's schedules are very busy, so we're not going to have much time to practice at all. But what do you think? and I remember thinking. And I hadn't even picked up my bass in a really long time because I'm very I'm kind of ashamed of this, but I'm a very practical person in the sense that if I don't have a reason to play, I don't play. So I and if you're a musician, you should always play whether you have a reason or not, but I don't. But anyway, so I hadn't picked up my bass in a long time, so I'm thinking, oh, this is nuts, and the show's in like 2 weeks, and we're gonna have barely any time to practice, and I haven't played in a while anyway, so I'm rusty. So I'd convinced myself it was a terrible idea. And then I called him. But the other thing is I don't like to disappoint somebody. So, and Troy is such a great guy. And if you ever meet him, he's one of these people he's so nice. He's such a nice guy that you don't want to disappoint him. So I'd said, all right, I'm going to call him. I'm just going to tell him, dude, I don't think this is going to work. And I call him, and just almost as though I wasn't even in control of what I was doing, just out of my mouth comes, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. But we weren't ready, and we were probably terrible, but we played anyway. We did the show, and it went great. We got a great reaction, and
that's awesome.
And from that, a whole lot of other things happened from me being in that band.
That's awesome.
I might not be doing this radio show today had I not been in that band, because, it's one of those things you go back and you think about it and you realize all the things that flowed from that one moment of me saying yes to something that I was sure I wasn't ready for, that they weren't ready for. That was a crazy idea, and we were all going to be humiliated and embarrassed. I was so sure of it, but I said yes anyway, and all kinds of stuff came from it. So
yeah, that's great. That's a good story.
Yeah. It's something I remind myself when I'm feeling like, oh, I have this, I want to do that, I want to do, but I probably can't. And, I'm going to fail at it if I even attempt it. And then I think about that, to that story with the Jinxed. But yeah, so good advice for people listening.
Yeah, totally. Yep. So yeah, you never know. Like, just give it a shot and say yes sometimes.
Yeah. Exactly. It's safer to say no, but then you might regret it later,
Yeah.
The worst thing is, thinking back and wondering, oh, I really wanted to do that, but I don't know, I talked myself out of it. What if I had done it,
Yeah. I could say the same thing about like going on that tour. Like, I was asked to do it, and there was a small part of me that was like, I'm going to be away from home for a while, and It was a lot because I was far. I was a long ways away.
Yeah.
Like, I was far.
Yeah.
And there was no, like, just come home, once I was gone.
Right.
And, I did get a little homesick, and, my girlfriend, Kendra, she's a huge part of my life, and like to be away and
Mhm.
and not, and that was a real big moment for me because, you know, of being gone.
Yeah.
And I was able to look forward to her coming out to some of the shows,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and but that was the first time like I was like just kind of by myself. Like my tour
Yeah.
manager, he came out with me, and he was there for a majority of the tour
Yeah.
and helped with things. And thank God, But towards the end of the tour, the last few shows, I was kind of on my own.
Yeah.
And yeah, Georgia, I love Georgia. If you haven't been to Georgia, go to Georgia.
Yeah.
I had a great time in Georgia. It was great. I went to the Hank Williams Museum.
Oh,
while I
no
was
kidding.
down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
And that was a really great venue there. And a funny story. I went into when I'm downtime. This was my first like larger tour.
Yeah.
And I have a Rolling Stones suitcase that I travel along with it.
Yeah.
It's all their logo all over it.
Oh, nice.
And I pull into I had to do laundry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had an off day, so I went to a laundromat, and it was so welcoming. I went in there, and so while I was washing, there was the Guitar Center across the street.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to the guitar store.
Yeah.
And I walked in there, and the guy, like, they knew who I was.
Oh, cool.
They're like, you're in town because the venue was down the street. You're with George Thorogood, aren't you? And I said, yeah, I am. And they're like, yeah, we were watching some of your videos because, if you hashtag George or this or that or whatever, they came across and they saw one of the clips of George and I playing together when I sit in.
Nice.
And I needed a guitar stand because mine disappeared at the last venue.
Oh, no.
So I went in there and grabbed it, and they were like, no, you're all set. Thank you for coming in here. And then I walked back out to go to the laundromat, and some guy came up to me, and he's like, hey, do you mind taking a selfie with me? I didn't want to ask you in the store. Would you mind?
Oh, wow.
He like knocked on the window.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said, yeah, that's
Cute.
cool. And he's like, yeah, man, that's so awesome. We're actually going to the show, me and my wife. And it was just really cool.
Yeah.
And you never know. And I ate at a Mexican restaurant by the Hank Williams Museum and sat there, and all those folks like knew, and the lady who owned the place wanted to take a picture and sign stuff. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting, and you do that and play down there, and then you come up here and play it. It was just so different. New Hampshire is so different compared to down south.
Yeah.
It really is. There's a lot of great people up here. I find the venues are a bit different up here. Like the programming of what goes on at venues is definitely different. And we're very lucky in New Hampshire here. We have some gorgeous venues.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, I love that. But yeah, I'm feeling better now, and I'm
Good.
I'm gonna do something now.
Yeah,
now that I
yeah.
feel better,
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. The time goes quickly, Brooks. But before we wrap up, and I am going to play at the end of the segment from your so that's a live EP or a full live album that
I think it's an EP. I don't know how many. I forget.
But you were talking about earlier. You covered "Miss You" by the Stones.
Yeah.
So looking forward to hearing. That's actually one of my favorite Stones songs.
Same here.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that song. What should people know about where to find you online, where they should go to keep up with everything that you're
Sure.
doing?
Well, if people even visit websites anymore, you can go to brooksyoung.com.
Yes.
Instagram at Brooks_Young_music. And it's me with this guitar here with a little blue check mark. So
that is a beautiful guitar. I encourage people
Thank
to.
you.
It
Thank
is
you.
Yeah.
gorgeous.
And so, yeah, that's where you can find me, and make sure you follow the right person. I did have someone decide that they were going to be me on Instagram and make a Brooks Young fan account, and they were messaging people, and this was like a couple of months ago.
Oh, wow.
And finally, it took an act of God to get Instagram to remove the account, and let me tell you, it was not easy.
Really?
Yeah, the only way that they will remove something is if the account is asking for money from people.
Okay.
So remember that.
Yeah.
And that was the only way, and they did. They messaged a friend and they asked for €500 or something like that. And
Yeah.
they were able to screenshot and save it, and I sent it to Instagram, and they finally removed it.
That happens a lot on Facebook too. Like I'm sure it's happened to all of us. You know, you get a message from somebody that you're already friends with, and they're like, and they're speaking to you in a tone via Facebook that's different than what you're used to, and it's like, I don't think you're the person I know.
Yeah,
And they have like one person in common with you, if any.
Yeah.
It's been weird. Like the past year or two of my life has been very interesting. People are very interested in my personal life and what I do. I don't know why. But yeah. Anyways.
But the hub is brooksyoung.com.
Yeah, that's the hub. And that will lead you to everything.
Absolutely. Wonderful to see you, Brooks.
You too, Matt.
Congratulations again on the tour.
Thank you.
Let's play this. I'm dying to hear this. So this is Miss You.
Yeah. My favorite part of it is when you can hear the audience sing along with me.
Okay.
And then you hear the end where everyone's just like, woo, you know.
Yay.
Yeah. All right, let's check this out.
I've been holding that so long. I've been sleeping all alone. I miss you. I've been holding that so long. I've been sleeping all alone. I want to kiss you. And I say, stalling in my dreams. People think I'm crazy. Well, I've been walking in the hall. I've been waiting on your call. And the phone rings. Just a friend of mine, I said, what's the matter, man? We're gonna go out 12 with some Puerto Rican girls who just dying to meet you. We're gonna bring a case of wine. We're gonna party like a good times, you know. I say, here we go. Baby, why you wait so long? And to you and no one else. Oh, I miss you, baby. Oh, yeah. You guys help me out on this one.